As we've covered on this show, Amazon workers are voting for unionization currently taking place in Alabama, and now other states have started to pay attention to the treatment of Amazon workers, like New York, which is currently suing Amazon for failing to protect its workers from COVID, allegedly.
Joining us now to discuss is former Amazon worker and organizer Chris Smalls. Welcome back, Chris. Great to see you.
Same. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So we covered a little bit of this new lawsuit. This is from New York Attorney General Letitia James's office. And part of what is alleged here is that, as you have been saying, you were wrongfully terminated. Now, Amazon tried to argue that you had violated social distancing protocols, and that's the reason that you were let go. This lawsuit claims otherwise. Just give us some of the details there.
Yes, absolutely. Once again, it was exciting to see that two top HR reps at that facility stepped forward and had the courage to pretty much validate the fact that I was wrongfully terminated. It wasn't justified. They agreed that, number one, that I wasn't properly informed on how the quarantine policy was supposed to be implemented. And number two, that I never returned back into the facility. I protested outside of the facility. So, once again, from the beginning, I was telling the truth the entire time. And this is a great to see that it was actually coming to full circle now.
And Chris, one of the things that was revealed in this lawsuit is that actually HR representatives within Amazon privately admitted that your firing was wrongful and that it was more about political retaliation. Can you go into that? Because you said you learned about it for the very first time there.
Yeah, I just think Amazon thought that keep spinning the story, controlling the narrative, eventually people were going to side with them. But as you've seen, they not only fired me, they retaliated against other protesters there, and they didn't do it fairly. They fired other people throughout the course of the pandemic. And once again, it just shows how these corporations treat essential workers. Without a voice and without legal representation, we have nobody to stand up for us. So I'm just happy that the state of New York is not only hold true to their word, but they continue to investigate and ultimately prosecute Amazon, which we hope to see comes out to be successful for all of us. This will be a huge victory for all Amazon workers.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the other part of this lawsuit validated exactly what you were protesting over, which is you were saying they are not taking safety precautions here. They are not following the New York State laws and guidelines around how to handle workers who get sick and disinfecting areas, making sure people have proper PPE. That's the other part of the allegation in this lawsuit, which again backs up exactly the reasons why you were protesting in the first place.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. As you've seen in the lawsuit, it said over 250 of those associates tested positive and came back to work within 7 days. So their protocol, their policies, their procedures were flawed from the beginning, as I always stated. And this is a prime example of what happens when you fail to neglect the health and safety of workers. So once again, I applaud Letitia James for stepping up and taking on Amazon. First of all, she has an amazing track record. And I'm just happy that now it's starting to see things are starting to come to the light. The truth is coming out to the light and everybody's excited about it.
Yeah, so let me ask you this then, Chris. Now that we see the unionization plans down in Alabama, how do you think that the company is responding? Are they making efforts in order to try and crush that? And how do you and your advocacy think about this going forward as a national movement?
Yeah, I believe that the company tried to sue to distract everybody from Alabama. I was actually in Alabama last week when they sued Letitia James. And I knew that was a tactic to draw the attention away from that. So I was glad that she was swiftly to respond. But right now, our main focus should be Alabama. It's the most important unionization drive since probably the 1930s. And I support it 100%, and I continue to do that. And I think Amazon knows that drawing attention away from that would help, I guess, their union busting tactics that they're doing every day down there. Yeah. So we just got to make sure we stay focused on that. Alabama is the most important thing right now.
And lastly, Chris, what has this experience been like for you? I mean, you spoke up, you were fired. They intentionally tried to make you, they tried to vilify you and insult your intelligence as a strategy to try to undermine you. What has this all been like for you personally?
That's a tough question. I still try to grasp it every day. 11 months later, we still out here fighting. My life changed forever, for sure. But, I just try to embrace it and continue to push forward. I know what I'm doing is helping many others, and I don't want to give up until I see this all the way through. That's one thing I learned from Amazon. You see it, own it, and you fix it. So I saw the issue 11 months ago. I owned up to it, meaning that I want to take initiative and I want to see it through to the end. So I'm here for the long haul. Even though my life's changed, I think that I'm doing pretty good.
Well, we wish you the best, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Takes a lot of courage, Chris. Great to see you.
You too. Likewise.
Coming up, a new poll shows a majority of Trump supporters rated QAnon unfavorable, and 43% said they'd never even heard of the group. We're going to discuss that poll when Rising continues.